Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of Wrestling Predictions. Yeah, that'll do. But today we are simulating Clash in Italy, which came up on me a little bit. I was going to do Saturday night's main event originally. Well, I didn't even know if I was playing on or not. It just kind of crept up on me. I was like, oh, I completely forgot about this pay-per-view for a second, and I was like, oh, I should probably do a predictions video. So here it is. That's why I didn't do a Saturday night's main event one. Anyways, you can see the order. Cody Rhodes is Gunther. I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that this is starting. Honestly, I read one place to just make sure I got all the matches right. And then I swear it said that like 3 of the matches, I swear it was Roman Reigns and 2 of the others were in the first hour, which I'm like, I highly doubt that unless Cody and Gunther and whatever the other one was going for like an hour each. I highly doubt it. And about an hour of ads after that. But yeah, I don't know. So I kind of just waited to give. I assumed that this was main eventing, tribal combat for the world title. It seemed about right. And I'm pretty sure I heard this was starting, so I kind of just whacked everything else in between, split up the world titles into first, third, and fifth, and then just went around after that. Anyways, without further ado, let's get to this. Alright, up first we have that WWE Undisputed Championship matchup. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, versus the Ring General, Gunther. It's like I said, WWE Championship. Alright, let's get into the predictions, and of course we'll allow WWE to WWE 2K26 to simulate the match as well. As you can see, we'll see who 2K decides the winner will be, and we'll see who's right. I do believe this is Saturday night, isn't it, that this is happening? It kind of just came out I know, to be honest, but for me, but anyways, let's get to it. I think this one's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I think because it's Gunther, but it's also Cody Rhodes, and I think this could be a massive thing, because if Gunther loses, if I am not mistaken, Cody Rhodes is the first man to beat Gunther twice in singles encounters, because it was all the way back at the original Crown Jewel championship match on the men's side of things. So of course Liv Morgan beat Nia Jax that night as well, which were a little surprising from Liv Morgan's absence on this card, to be honest. And I think she's absent from the tour in general, so maybe she's got something on, I don't know. Because I would have expected Italy. She got that entire like Mona Liver painting, and I think she's part Italian as well, but whatever. Yeah, realistically, this is the second pay-per-view now. Sorry, the second pay-per-view I did now, and she still hasn't got on it since winning the championship, but it is what it is. Anyways, I think there is. I've also heard possibilities that some people think Orton might return, and that may just cause some kind of disqualification. So maybe Gunther still wins, but because it's disqualification, Cody still retains. Is possible. I could definitely see that happening. Them attempting Gunther, that does sway my thing. I think Cody Rhodes is still walking out as champion at the end of the night. That is my prediction, though. I guess I've got to predict. So I'm going to go with a Cody Rhodes win, but I think my main vote is Cody Rhodes is holding on to that championship by the end, whether it is by actually legitimately beating Gunther, because he rolled him up last time. So he's either going to legitimately beat him, or there'll be some kind of interference. They'll give Gunther the win, but not the championship, I guess. Yeah, but I'm hoping if Gunther does actually legitimately lose, not a disqualification win, they'll make a big deal out of it, because they really need to. I don't know. I haven't been watching. I've been keeping up with Best Super Juniors, so SmackDown's kind of fallen to the wayside, so I'm not sure if they've mentioned the fact that Cody's beaten Gunther once before and all that, but nonetheless, I'm sure Cole will on commentary. I hope he does. But yeah, nonetheless, that is what I am going for this thing. This definitely, I'm assuming this is opening the show, because I don't think it's main eventing. But it should be a good match nonetheless. So yeah, I don't think I have too much more else to say about this matchup. I don't think. Yeah, I don't see Cody Rhodes dropping the title so quickly, but it is just hard to see. So it keeps things interesting. There is it is when the two undefeatables come together. It's like, who actually legitimately does win? I don't know if undefeatables is a thing, but you know. Nonetheless, yeah, I'm going for a Cody Rhodes victory. Just, yeah. Which 2K has decided the same thing by the looks of things. 2K is expecting Cody Rhodes to walk out on top. I wonder if 2K will agree with me tonight. I believe it was completely against me at WrestleMania nearly. And I think we disagreed on one match. I think for Backlash. I can't even remember how right I was for Backlash. Was I completely right? I don't know. Also, I think I will do Saturday night's main event when they next happen. It just didn't come to my head to do at the time. But I will probably do my best to do those as well. Because, you know, I do enjoy doing these videos. I enjoy editing them to create them mini matches as well. But anyways, let's see what 2K thinks of the rating of this matchup, shall we? See how good they think the match will be. They think it will be a 4.5-star matchup. Pretty high praise. Alright, we have up next the very uber athletic, as Michael Cole would say, I think. Sol Ruca taking on the man, Becky Lynch, in the Saturday night's main event rematch, but this time it is for that Intercontinental Championship. So let's get it on, jeez. Alright, who do I think's winning this matchup? I think they might... see, I'm stuck between two decisions in my head here. Either they're going to give Sol the win, or I think Sol is beating Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Let me just get that idea there. I do believe Sol will beat her for the championship. I'm just questioning if they're gonna run. Becky Lynch has pointed out that Sol has not won a match yet. Are they gonna run with that a little bit further before letting her finally win a matchup and be finally for the IC Championship, or maybe finally earning another shot? I don't know. But maybe might have it at a bigger pay-per-view, maybe. I could 100% see that happening. Maybe Sol might jump into the Money in the Bank ladder match first, because I could very much see them wanting to put her in that, just so she can do all her cool flips and stuff off ladders and onto ladders and yada yada, you know what I mean? I think Sol's going to be in Money in the Bank this year. Don't think she's going to win it. But do they want the IC Champion to walk into that, the Women's IC Championship? Wouldn't be the first time, at least not on the men's side of things. I'm not quite sure about the women's. So, I think they might attempt to put Sol Ruca maybe on the road to SummerSlam. So I don't think Lynch has got too much longer left. So he might be going until Lynch's contract's over, which, for all intents and purposes, could be something like SummerSlam, which could then lead to Sol beating her or something. I don't know. I think that is fair. I think I'm going to go with a Becky Lynch win here, but Sol is definitely winning the championship in my mind soon. It's just it's the debate in my head of, is that soon going to be Clash in Italy, or is it going to be a little bit later down the line? I imagine if it's not here, it's SummerSlam. Though I'm not actually sure what the pay-per-view schedule is, because I know that they started talking about the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. So I'm assuming there's a pay-per-view building to that. Not quite sure what it is. We have Night Champions again? I don't know. I don't remember where. We had King of the Queen last year, didn't we? Did it culminate in Night Champions? I don't remember. But nonetheless, yeah, I think I'm definitely going to go with Becky Lynch. It's a close call. It really is, but yeah. I just felt like I had more to talk about in some of these matches. Like I said, I haven't watched this Saturday night's main event match yet either. I've heard some people talking about this whole seems to be botching everything she's doing at the minute. At least one thing in every match. She can't seem to go unscathed, which, you know, stuff happens. I've seen enough of her in NXT to know she can go. But anyways, like I said, probably just some nerves. But nonetheless, it looks like 2K26 yet again agrees with me. 2 for 2 so far. So it doesn't really matter if we're both legitimately wrong, but at least we can be wrong together, I guess. You know, don't forget to put your predictions in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. But like I said, looks like 2K26 has picked Becky Lynch to be the winner of this matchup and retain her IC Women's Championship. She could win it for another disqualification, to be fair, like Cody, but doubtful. Anyways, WWE will be a 4-star matchup, or 2K does. Well, and we got into the other women's match of the night. It is that WWE Women's Championship match. Jade Cargill versus Rhea bloody Ripley. Like I said, for that women's championship, I believe this is Rhea's first defense, if I'm not mistaken. So, because it's Rhea's first defense, I think there's a very heavy, strong chance that Rhea Ripley walks out with the title in this match, considering it is Rhea Ripley and her first title defense, if I'm not mistaken. Which I've obviously put Michin, B-Fab, Charlotte, Alexa all at ringside, because I think realistically speaking, they're getting involved at some point, so it's just easier for me to simulate them as managers than go, oh, you four get involved somehow. I could probably get two of them to be involved, one from each side, but getting all four involved, yeah, 100% easier if I just whack them as managers, and because I could totally see Michin and B-Fab coming out as managers anyways. But yeah, I do think all of the four women will get involved at some point. Maybe even Fatal Influence might come out, to be fair. It's very possible. Fatal Influence are on the tour. I mean, I didn't see him at Liverpool, see him, but I saw him on Instagram that they were there too. So, Fatal Influence could 100% get involved. Probably causing some kind of disqualification, maybe. I really hope we're not having a full disqualification night here, because that would be dead. But, which I don't think we will. The fifth match can't be possible. There's no disqualification, and I don't think the fourth match will, at least on my list of things. But I think Fatal Influence trying to stopping the match partway through, just after Alexa, Charlotte, Michin, and B-Fab have all kind of been wiped out to an extent. Maybe then Fatal Influence charge Rhea and Jade and no, you both protected, but we attacked you, type thing or whatever. And maybe their way to protect Jade from a second loss. I don't know. I don't like having to constantly talk about protecting people like that. I understand to an extent, but yeah, I think that is very much possible. It's Rhea, that means she retains her first thing, but Jade doesn't take the loss. That is a very high possible, though somebody's going to take the loss. I imagine Rhea will get attacked first, I reckon. Which would give her the win anyways. Officially speaking. Yeah, I think that is likely. I wasn't thinking about that until it literally just came into my head. About that it could Fatal Influence are on tour. So I think considering they are, unless it's just for SmackDown purposes, I don't even know where that is. Then I think it's very high chance that, because it is more of a SmackDown tour, isn't it? I don't know if Raw is in Europe. I don't know. I didn't look into it because I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not doing it this year. So, I'm not looking into it. What's where? Because I think there's a second portion of the tour later, isn't there? In June, I think. Oh, then again, we're about to head into June. Maybe I got it wrong. Nonetheless. Oh, yeah, no, Night of Champions. I've just thought, of course, Night of Champions is happening this year. Because there was the whole malarkey with Roman Reigns on the poster and whatnot. Yeah, now I remember. We are having Night of Champions. So I guess that's the next pay-per-view. I don't believe there's a Saturday night's main event before that, so it'll be interesting to see what those Night of Champions matches will be. It'd be nice to have some non-title matches, because this is nearly a full title match pay-per-view. Minus Brock and Oba, but that feels pretty big enough anyways. Jeez. But yeah, nonetheless, I do seem to remember Rhea and Jade putting on a solid match at WrestleMania for the times allotted. Though I think they had more. I think they definitely did have more. But yeah, nonetheless, so I'm expecting an okay matchup out here tonight for Rhea and Jade. But yeah, probably a lot of interfering and all that malarkey is to be expected. Yeah. Anyways, let's find out who 2K simulates. I feel like I had more to talk about in all of these than I used to. I felt like I actually did a really good job of getting all these matches down, but clearly I'm about half a minute too slow. Sorry, too long. But nonetheless, well, this one will do it. 2, 3, and it does so. I suppose I could commentate the matches a little bit after I've done talking, but I kind of it's like if the match is still going, I might see if I can try and squeeze anything else out of me. Yeah, but nonetheless, looks like 2K26 has yet again agreed with me. Looks like we're going on for Backlash here. Will it get all 5? I do not remember after editing all the matches. So I've slept since. And not slept since. But it looks like they agree that Rhea Ripley is winning. Looking badass with the blood. Let's see what they think the rating of the match will be. They believe it will be a 4-star as well. 32K think this is a great pay-per-view so far. Well, as I mentioned, the rematch is happening. Femi, the ruler, taking on the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Alrighty then. Like I said, the only non-championship match of the night, that's why there's no championship animation for these two. Anyways, let's get it on. So, Brock over Femi. I mean, I was kind of surprised about this happening, to be fair. I thought maybe I think everybody was taken aback from the retirement to WrestleMania for Brock Lesnar. Considering that, even if he wasn't going to take on the suspected Gunther, I think Minnesota in SummerSlam. I'm pretty sure that SummerSlam is in Minnesota, because I've heard a lot of people say that's where they think Brock Lesnar is going to try, because he's from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Although I'm sure if SummerSlam's in Minneapolis, but I guess Minnesota will do. Which, to be fair, I'd be quite happy to retire in London. I'm not from London, but I've spent some time there already, plenty of time there. But that, it's still England, still the UK nonetheless. But yeah, so I think with that logic, now that he hasn't retired at WrestleMania, he's not going to retire in Italy. That's just not happening. Let's be for real here. He's not retiring in Italy. He's not retiring at Clash in Italy. This is Brock Lesnar we're talking about here. The man that defeated Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. There is no chance in hell that Brock Lesnar is retiring at Clash in Italy, which poses two questions. Is Brock Lesnar taking on Gunther at SummerSlam, like what is being predicted, and will Gunther retire him? Or what I'm going to lean for, which I think is possibly the better choice, is Brock Lesnar wins this match tonight. He is now one-on-one with Femi. That means they need the rubber match, and where else to have it than at SummerSlam? Brock Lesnar then retires in Minneapolis after losing to Femi. I think it could also go the way that maybe, say, Oba and Brock end up going to Night of Champions or Money in the Bank, probably Night of Champions, and have their third match still logically that way, and then Gunther can still retire Brock. I think that is also a possible third outcome, but I think they want one more match out of this. I don't think they're going to let Oba beat him 2-0. I think it's going to go 1-1, then 2-1 to Oba. I think that's more than a likely statement, because like I said, this is still Brock Lesnar we're talking about here. And I imagine this match will go on a little bit longer than the other one. It'll still probably be the shortest match on the card, I imagine. Because it's just one of those type of matches. It's not like necessarily saying Iron Man can't, but it's just that style of matchup they like to have. I can remember when Lesnar took on Lashley. I think that was kind of a short match, and it was just an absolute finisher fest, which I think very much this match could turn into at one point. Maybe the following one just becoming an absolute finisher fest, just power bombs and F5s out of everywhere. Very much possible. And again, I did there was people talking about Femi and Roman Reigns possibly doing battle at SummerSlam for the championship, which I guess we'll get into possibly later on, like after in the next match. But if that is the case, then that means that would support the theory that at the very least they would have their third match at Night of Champions instead of SummerSlam. So Brock could have his match versus Gunther. Very much possible. But I think even with all that possible of Gunther versus Lesnar and Oba versus Roman at SummerSlam, I still don't think they're going to let Brock 2-0. 0-2, I guess, in that regard. To Femi. And then maybe that could be the point. Gunther's like, oh, I'm going to put you out your misery now that you've lost twice to this man. I could see that storyline being the case. But I don't think so. Like I said, this is Brock Lesnar we're talking about here. So I do believe he would be going one-on-one. Because I originally predicted that Brock was going to win WrestleMania and Oba would get the win later. I guess they're doing this the other way around. I think I was still kind of half expected a rubber match anyway. So I guess we're still going down that road. We just changed the pathway slightly, I guess. The side of the road. I don't know what metaphor I'm looking for here, but I think you get the point. No, very much so. Which yet again, I feel like I've yet again ran to the end of my road about how much I can talk about here. Which, yeah. I will say this while it's happening. Is it only me that just finds it weird that Paul Heyman bans between like the Vision and Brock Lesnar? I understand why he's with Brock Lesnar, but it kind of makes the Vision. It just feel a bit weird now that he's with the Vision, even though he was been with them for like a year or two or whatever it's been. And it just feels weird seeing him there because it just feels like Brock Lesnar is just so much more important than the Vision, especially now we're down to 2 members. And Braun Breaker wasn't even there on the last Raw. But anyways, talking of stuff, looks like 2K yet again is agreeing with me. We are 4 for 4 in agreeing here tonight. They believe that Brock Lesnar is winning this matchup against the ruler over Femi, which I do believe to be very possible. But anyways, yeah, let's see what they think the match will be. They think it'll be a 4-star yet again. 2K believe this is going to be a hell of a pay-per-view. Well, alrighty then. Up next and finally, it is Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf, versus the OTC Roman Reigns, doing battle in the main event for that World Heavyweight Championship. And not only that World Heavyweight Championship, but also the Tribal Chief status, I believe. Pretty sure that's what Tribal Combat will do, is what it's going to do. Which I think Tribal Combat has made this situation a little interesting. I don't think I don't think they want Roman Reigns to lose his Tribal Chief status, because I feel like that just does too much merch numbers. Like the OTC, what they're still going to call him the OTC if Jacob Fatu wins. Like maybe the original Tribal Chief. Is it the only Tribal Chief or the original? I think it's been both, which would mean that maybe they could keep OTC if he focused more on original Tribal Chief, which I think is originally what they did. And then it was original Tribal Chief while he was feuding with Solo, and then once he beat Solo, I think it became only Tribal Chief. I think they might go back to original, but Solo never actually beat Roman for anything to become Tribal Chief, which could be very interesting to see if Jacob Fatu does. I think it could be a very interesting dynamic with like Raw and SmackDown with Solo and the 2 remaining MFT members, I believe. It could be very interesting to see how them lot do, like how they react. It would be a very interesting situation to see, and I would kind of like to see it. To be fair, that's one thing I haven't been doing in these matches. I've been saying who I think will win. There's a difference between who I think will win and who I want to win. I mean, if I run through it quickly, yeah, I want Cody to win. Yeah, I want. Honestly, I don't know if I have a preference. I think sometimes my preference is the one that I believe will win. Just because I necessarily don't have it. Like I said, I believe Soul's winning eventually at one point anyways. But I'm happy for Becky Lynch to be champion a bit longer. I'm happy with either, so I'm going to just go say that I want Becky Lynch to win, just purely out of the fact that I believe she's winning. Yeah, I want Rhea to win. Yeah, I'm happy for Brock to win. Yeah, again, probably a similar situation to Becky and Soul. Part of me just wants them to win just purely out of that. I think for this case here, I kind of want Jacob to win, just purely out of the fact that just to see what happens and how everything goes down with Jimmy and Jay and Solo and Tyler and Tama and Roman himself as well and Jacob. I think it could be a very interesting dynamic to see how Jacob Fatu in the Tribal Chiefs like spot in the head of the table. I think that could be very interesting. I think though if that does happen, I think it's very possible that Reigns could attempt to win that Tribal Combat back. Is that in the rules that he's allowed to re-challenge? Is there something in the stuff that maybe he's only allowed to challenge once, or he's not allowed to challenge, or whatever? Or maybe now Jacob Fatu challenges Roman, he's never allowed to challenge for the tribal spot again. I don't know if there's any fancy rules behind it. I'm sure maybe if there are, WWE will still work all their way to make it whatever they want it to be. At whatever moment. They could always change their mind. Jeez. So I think that is very much possible. But I haven't actually got to who I think's winning this matchup. Do I think Roman Reigns is... like I said, I think I'm going to go with my logic on purely from... It's such a dumb reason, but purely from a merch standpoint, like being like the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. I don't think they're going to get him to lose that. I don't know if they're bold enough for that. Or I guess they like money too much or something. I don't know. That is my prediction. I do believe that Roman Reigns is winning this matchup, which so clearly does 2K, and clearly I've been able to stretch it. Only if I said who I wanted to win for the matches, I would have been able to stretch most of them out. Like the extra 10, 20, 30 seconds I needed. But except for the one match, did seem to take a little bit longer than the planned time. But anyways, looks like 2K agrees with me on every point, which is a first for 2K. It's the first time that 2K believes that I am right with everything. I guess we'll see in due time, if that is the case. Nonetheless, looks like 2K thinks it's going to be a hell of a pay-per-view. Another 4-star matchup, 4-4-star matchups, and a 4.5-star matchup between Cody and Gunther. It should be interesting. Anyways, thanks for watching this prediction and simulation of Clash in Italy. I hope you do put your predictions down in the comments down below, and hopefully you enjoyed the pay-per-view, and hopefully this helped out a little bit more with the hype. So I'll see you when I see you. Yeah, peace.